What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am filming this quick intro before I get into the video. I am doing a different kind of swatch today. So if you've watched some of my other videos, I have swatched a full Daniel Smith watercolor tot card. I've swatched all of my favorite handmade watercolors. But watercolor palettes are not the only thing I get super hype over. I'm also a big fan of eyeshadow and makeup palettes. It's basically taking artistry on the page and putting it on your face and on your skin, and I think that's so cool. So I wanted to film a video of me swatching some products that I've never tried before, makeup products. I recently had the opportunity to update my makeup collection. Thanks to VIP Kid. Watch my other videos about that if you are interested in a good side hustle. So I bought some Jeffree Star products. Now, I guess if you're into makeup, you know who Jeffree Star is. You know that he's pretty big in the makeup industry, and I've always wanted to try his products, but I've always been a little scared or non-adventurous because they're bright, and I go to work or teach children online, and I don't want to obviously, I guess I should say, like, I stick to natural makeup, but I wanted to be a little more adventurous. So I have the Blue Blood palette. I have the Blood Sugar palette. We have the Skin Frost Pro palette, and I will say, like, I'm a sucker for highlighter. I will glaze donut all day long. And then lastly, the Morphe by Jeffree Star palette, and I just really wanted to compare the swatches of his products versus the collab products. So I'm excited to do that. And then in full transparency, I already filmed this video, and it was a hot mess. I was like trying to beauty guru and swatch, and then I thought to myself, Erica, like, what are you doing? Swatch the way that you would swatch anything else. So what I'm going to do is actually top-down swatch on my arm, all of these, and then let me know if you like this kind of video. I was thinking of also doing a swatch the makeup I need to declutter now that I've updated some things, and some of my palettes are probably like seriously expired, and just let me know if this is your jam. It's a little bit of a different video from what I normally do, but not because it's still a watch me swatch, but with makeup and other beautiful colors. I'd love to know your thoughts. I will give my first impressions as I'm going through this, and if this is something you like, comment below, and maybe I can do some more of these different kind of swatch videos. So let's get into the video. Alright, hi friends, welcome back. I thought long and hard about how to do this because I think that finger swatches really aren't that representative of how makeup actually works and how you use it. So I'm trying to be as close to that as possible, and I have primed with Smashbox the original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur on both arms, and then I've also used the Benefit Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation. I use this in shade 2. It is my favorite right now. It is a light to medium coverage, so if you're a full coverage person, this definitely isn't for you, but it is for me. So I think we can just dive in. These are the 4 that we're going to cover today, and I guess we'll do these 2 first and then compare the quality of these to the collab, and then just for fun, the Skin Frost Pro, because I love highlighter. And I'm going to use a flat brush from the Jeffree Star Morphe Collab. This is the JS11 brush, and you know, this is kind of how you would, I mean, you'd use a myriad of brushes, as you can see, but I'm going to use a brush because, again, that's a little more representative of how you would use it. So I'm going to move these out of the way and start with the Blood Sugar, because I really think this is actually the oldest one, and most people probably have this if they're going to get it. But here she is, and just to say, the packaging is really nice. It's like a faux leather. It also has these nice little latches on it here, and then you pop that open. And I will say I have used this some already, so it is not perfect, but here she is. And the cool thing I think about the top-down deal here is you'll get to see the palette as I swatch it, and I hope that'll let you see which of the shades have some kickback and which don't. So I'm just gonna dive right in here, and like I said, I can't believe I spent all that time on a video trying to beauty guru it when this is really, you know, the way I would swatch anyway. So shout out to all my hometown people in Virginia. I do have a clean brush here. It's used but clean. So we're just gonna dip into the shade Glucose. And you know what? As soon as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't have a million clean brushes, and you're not going to be able to see kind of how it really works like this. So now I know why people use finger swatches, but the good news is my skin is still prepped like you would prep yours. So Glucose. The next is Sugarcane, and I love this shade. I think it's a nice transition shade, or even a crease shade if you're going for a good natural look. And then next we have Cake Mix. Now Sugarcane feels super kind of creamy, but Cake Mix, for whatever reason, for me feels a little more dry. But that is Cake Mix. And then lastly we have Ouch. And this one also feels really creamy in the pan. And that is Ouch. Okay, next we have Donor. I love this, like, come on. It is a beautiful copper brown. It's, to me, just as good as a metallic watercolor paint. And then lastly we have Intravenous, which is kind of like a maroon brown color, which I also love. Very pigmented, really great for crease and lining as well. So I like this. I've actually used this in the brow a little bit as well when I wanted to kind of shape my brows. So that is row 1. Glucose, Sugarcane, Cake Mix, Ouch, Donor, and Intravenous. Now we have another favorite of mine, Candy Floss. And that is just so creamy. It feels like good to dip your finger into. And it's a really beautiful soft pink. I have blue eyes, so I wear a lot of pink shades, and I really love this one. And then next you have Tongue Pop. This one feels creamy in the palette too. There's not a lot of kickback. It is more of like a corally pink, so I think it has like a warmer orangey tone to it. Then you have Sweetener, which, as you can see, is another favorite of mine. Again, really creamy in the pan, lots of shimmer to it, and really pigmented when it goes on. And you can see I'm almost trying to like blend them close together because these colors do blend really nicely. But let me get a more, there we go. I love, love, love the shimmer on that. Next we have Cavity. Now I know this is gonna stain my skin, so I'm not super excited. These are, there are some pressed pigments in here, and this is one of them, so just a good base is really helpful, or just understand you're gonna have some staining here. But actually really surprised because I expect this one to be powdery, but it doesn't feel that way. And this is Cavity. And then we have O Positive. I just love how creamy these feel. I'll like spoiler say that the Blue Blood palette to me doesn't feel as creamy, the mattes, as some of these. But this is a really like soft mauve, purpley color, O Positive. And then you have this really beautiful purple called Root Canal. And there we go. We have Candy Floss, Tongue Pop, Sweetener, Cavity, O Positive, and root canal. So I'm gonna switch arms here. Will I? Let me see if I can get the whole last palette in one arm so you can see them all together. So next we have this really bright kind of red. To me, it is more of an orangey red and not a true red, but it is called Prick. And then we have Cherry Soda. I love this color. And then we also have a Fresh Meat, and this one feels a little more dry and crumbly as well. Actually, wow. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it feels a lot more crumbly and dry. There's quite a bit of kickback in the pan. But there is Fresh Meat. I actually really love that color. But that's the first time I've like gone in on it, and it was quite crumbly. Next is Blood Sugar. And just so you guys know, I have a makeup wipe and a towel, so I'm cleaning my fingers so we're getting fresh swatches in between. This is Blood Sugar, which is so creamy and beautiful. And then we have Extraction. And Coma. This one feels dry in the palette too. There's just a few of them. I mean, that's a beautiful, like, mulberry, berry purple, but there are just a few of them that feel a little dry. So there you have it. We have Prick, Cherry Soda, Fresh Meat, Blood Sugar, Extraction, and Coma. And that is the complete palette swatched. I'm gonna leave that, although I'm definitely terrified it's going to smear, but let's work on the other arm for the Blue Blood palette. Here she is. I really have a lot of fun with this. There's a lot of natural looks you can do. I mean, I love sugarcane, cake mix, tongue pop, adding a pop of shimmer with sweetener and candy floss. You can see my camera. But these are really fantastic. A palette. This is my first product from Jeffree Star that I ever got recently, and I just think it's really nice and pretty high quality. I love the packaging, you know, and it encourages me to try to be a little more adventurous with color, but also gives me a lot to work with on a daily basis. So I love that. Okay, next we have the Blue Blood palette. Now I was really scared to get this, and then I thought, you know what, Erica, go for it. I have blue eyes, number one, and these are blue eyeshadows. So I love the packaging on this too. It's probably cardboard, but it feels like hard plastic. And it does have the same kind of latch closure, and it has this nice coffin shape. Again, I've dipped into this a little bit, but I love, love, love this palette and this color story. Again, I think it gives you enough to do natural looks, but also have fun with color. And you know what? Like, let's bring back blue eyeshadow, I guess. I don't know. So I'm gonna have this here. I'm just gonna make sure my fingers are nice and clean. And let's go in on the other arm. And this is just some kind of skin irritation, so apologies in advance for that. But the first shade is a beautiful creamy white. I use this for highlighting the brow all the time, and it is called Cullinan, which I remember watching Jeffree's video, and he said this is like the most expensive diamond in the world. And it does have a beautiful white shimmer. The next shade we have is Minty, and I love this. There is a lot of kickback in the pan, so I really recommend kind of making sure that you have set your eyes, or at least know there might be some fallout. But come on, this color is that like beautiful, perfect mint. And I've been having a lot of fun with this as a pop of color. Next is another favorite of mine. It is so luscious and creamy. It is called Crystal Flesh, and I love this. I mean, the two of these together too, I have a lot of fun with like a more natural look, but with a pop of color. And then you have the shade I'm Cold, which is more to me like a robin's egg blue. And I do a couple of swipes, but I still think they're quite pigmented. And then we have the next shade is called Untouchable. I use this quite a bit as a transition shade, as well as just more natural looks. These are the shades that feel a little more dry to me, like I really have to go in, and they still feel a little, like I said, just a little drier. But they're still beautiful and they blend really easily, which I think is great. So that's almost like a soft baby pink. And then we have the shade Priceless, which I think is a great transition shade. It does show really light, but I have super light skin, so it's kind of helpful. But I love to just cover the lid, and this is a nice base. It's a great transition shade. So there you have row 1, Cullinan, Minty, Crystal Flesh, I'm Cold, Untouchable, and Priceless. Next we'll go into row 2, and the first shade is called Power. Now this does feel a little more creamy. It's like a soft bluish gray. I mean, I'm going to give it 1 pass. That's really nice. So the great crease or lining color. Next shade is called Blue Blood. It has a little crown. I love it. You know, it always has the Jeffree star icon, but also a couple of like fun ones mixed in. This one is a little powdery. There's some kickback here, but a very nice sky blue color in Blue Blood. Next we have the shade Deceased, which you know Jeffree is known for that, if you know Jeffree. But this is more of a shimmery blue. I really love that. I'm going to give it 1 more pass. It does feel just the tiniest bit. It's nice to blend, but no, there could be a little bit of fallout there. Then we have the shade Ice Tray. Oh, I'm not kidding when I say his shimmers are usually the most creamy, shimmery eyeshadows I've ever felt. This is like a lighter, icy blue. I mean, dang. And next we have Blue Monday. I've seen people really love the shade Blue Monday. It does feel a little dry for me. I mean, you definitely need to give it a couple of goes, but again, I feel like that makes them more blendable, so I don't mind that trait. And then Flourishing, which is a favorite of mine already, and actually now that I'm looking at it, it feels like it just goes further, or like I said, maybe it's just a blendability thing, because they seem like, as you can see, it like blend out really nicely. So there you go. We have the shade Power, Blue Blood, Deceased, Ice Tray, Blue Monday, and Flourishing. I love Flourishing. I've been lining with Flourishing and Minty, and I really love those. All right, so let's move on to the last row. We have, okay guys, I thought my camera was gonna make it through that whole video with the battery. It totally didn't, but we are back, and I was just swatching Wealthy. We are on the last row here, so we have Wealthy, which can be, nope, not hard to see on a pale person like me. And then Celebrity Skin. So, ooh, that is, wow, really creamy matte. There is a little bit of kickback in the pan, but I don't even care because that is creamy. And I love these together for a more natural look. They're really nice. And then we have Entitled. This is a very glittery shimmer. It picks up quite a bit of pigment. There's a little bit of fallout and crumble there, but I love this color. I use it a lot, actually. Well, a lot. I've had this for only a week or two, but I like to reach for it for like lining, just to add a little bit of fun. Like, it's really nice. And then lastly, This one is a lot drier, but I think it has more like glitter in it. But this is called Ocean Ice. And it has like a beautiful royal blue color, lots of glitter. But it is a little bit drier to me. Then we have Cremated, very soft, kind of grayish blue. And then lastly, we have Undertaker, which again feels a little crumbly and dry to me, but is a very nice navy. And there you have it. We have Wealthy Celebrity Skin entitled Ocean Ice, Cremated, and Undertaker. And you also have your full Blue Bud palette. So while I was filming this, I will say this one was a mess by the time I was done. I mean, hitting the sleeve, it was all over the place. So definitely make sure you set those powders in the Blood Sugar palette. I mean, obviously. And this is the Blue Blood. I will say between the two, I find these to kind of stay in place a little more. And I find myself reaching for this one a little more just because I want to have fun, and I love the natural shades that are in this. And I also really love the shimmers. They're really good, and these are fun colors. So like I said, I don't know if you can see, there is a little bit of kickback and fallout in some of these shades, but kind of to be expected. But overall, a really fun palette to play with. So that is the Blue Blood and Blood Sugar palette. I will reset my arms, and then we will come back and do the Morphe Jeffree Star and Brain Freeze palette, just to see how the finger swatches for these, or this specifically, and the Morphe Collab formula comes out versus Jeffree's own formula. I will say I'm pretty sure, almost 100% sure, that this formula is a little bit better. Why would he give away his signature formula? But these are still pretty good for the price, so we will swatch those out so you can see a more bright palette. Alright, you guys, here we are. Welcome back. I have prepped this arm. You can maybe see a little bit of the staining from the pigment powders in the Blood Sugar palette, but regardless, we are going to now go through the Morphe by Jeffree Star collab. Now, it is a cheaper price point, so my guess is they're going to be pretty good, but maybe not as great. But there is a lot of color to work with here. The most noticeable thing is that there are no blues. And I wish there was a little more purple. Like, there is a shade called Gumdrop in the Jawbreaker palette that I want basically just for that shade. So I kind of wish something like that was in here. But anyway, let's get into the swatch. And I want to make sure, like, before you can see it while I swatch it. So the first shade, and I love this, it says, "Welcome back to my channel, wand noise." Welcome back to my channel. So if you watch Jeffree, that will be funny to you, or at least slightly entertaining. So the first shade is Welcome, and right away I can tell you that, like, this metallic is nice, but it is not as creamy and buttery as, and you can already tell from the swatch, it's not as creamy and buttery as the formula in either of the other palettes. Then we have Back, which is a very pigmented and smooth, dusty pink. Actually, it swatches brighter than I thought it was going to. And again, like, I do like these, but I can tell right away it's not the quality that his products are, like his own products. This is 2, and this does feel a lot more like a Jeffree creamy metallic. And it is a very shimmery, sparkly, light pink. And then you have I will say these mattes feel really buttery. I don't know if you can see the little bit of crumbly there, but I love pinks, so I really like this. And I think this palette might inspire me to try some of these more adventurous colors. So next we have Channel which it's like this orangey color, and this is where it starts getting a little outside my comfort zone. This is like somewhere between terracotta and brown to me. And then you really have a bright color in Wand Noise. Again, feels really creamy. You've got a nice shift here, and that's a really pretty color. Like, it makes me want to do some kind of sunset vibe. The next color is Lynn, and it is a really, really nice natural color, neutral. I really think it's got good coverage. It's a great transition shade. I love that. And also I love the next one, 1985, which I think is another really great transition shade. But to be completely honest, like, you don't expect to get the Jeffree Star formula with the collab, because it's not the same. And I'm not sure if you can tell that from watching the swatches, but I can tell from the way that they swatch. Next we have Mogul. This is a really pretty berry color. And I will say, again, there's a little bit of fallout on the skin if you really go in. And I would say that the Jeffree Star palettes didn't have that level of fallout. Then we have Self-Made. I will say they all feel like super nice in the pan and on the skin. Like, they feel really smooth. I don't at all want to say like this isn't good, because I think it is actually really nice. It's just that his own formula is nicer. So you're comparing like two things that are you know, not the same. There's a little kickback in the pan on Dog Mom, but this is one of my favorite shades. Here is Dog Mom, and then you have Honest Truth, which I think is another really great transition shade. It's a bit more nude, but I really like that. So we have, welcome back to my channel, Wand Noise, Lynn, 1985, Mogul, Self-Made, Dog Mom, Honest Truth. Dipping into the third row, we have Designer Label. This one is super creamy. I love this color, this gold. Like, beautiful. Love, love, love. I personally really love all of the shimmers in this palette. I'm not the hugest fan of the like heavy glitters, but you know, these are really nice. And then Mr. Diva, this feels very smooth. There's not a lot of kickback in a lot of these mattes, which I really like. This is, again, more of a tan, brownish color here. And then we have Boss Angeles. This is a fun terracotta brown. And then we have Pink Fleet, which is, see, here's where I get a little concerned. And you can see some blendability there, but it does have a little bit of fallout. So just maybe be prepared again for that with some of these shades. Next we have Calabasas. Just want to make sure my hand is dry, clean. I love Calabasas. I think this is great for the crease and lining and the outer corner. It's a nice maroon. And then you have Don't Know Her, which is beautiful, like strawberry to me, pink. And there you have it. We have Designer Label, Mr. Diva, Los Angeles, Pink Fleet, Calabasas, and Don't Know Her. For the last two rows, I'm going to switch arms and switch sides. Here we go, let's do it. We have Rolls With It. Again, another really beautiful, fun gold. It's not coming up at all there, but I promise it does. There we go. It's, wow, it's definitely a lot more sheer than I expected it to be, and I've used it before. I'm like really going in, you can see the gold, but when oh, there we go. But honestly, like that's, I think for me, more of a lid, or like actually, okay, there we go. It's super soft though, I will say. I'd love to highlight with this or lid with that. It's like a nice gold. Next you have Millions. And Millions is a straight like glitter. So, I mean, it goes on, but I would say you're gonna want, you know, like a glitter glue or a really tacky base. I mean, with that is, she's ready to party. I really love the glitter. I find that other than just like creating fun looks at home, I find out I don't have a place I'm gonna wear that, you know? Next we have Girl, like Girl. And I love this. It's like a copper metallic. It goes on so smooth. Again, I don't feel the pigment there as it would be in like one of his formulas, but it's still a really, really pretty and nice shimmer. Next we have What's the Tea? And I think this is a super interesting color. It's like a greenish brown, but it does have a real like tea color. And again, I find these, I don't know if you can tell, they're a little less blendable. Like there's more of a harsh line, but I think you could work with it, you know? Then we have Vroom Vroom, which is a nice gray. I think this is a little bit darker than the grays you might get in the Blue Blood palette. That's always a tongue twister. And it has a bit of a sheen to it, so I quite like that. Then you have Custom Rims here in the end. And like bling, like that is shiny, shiny silver. And it goes on so creamy and beautiful. Like, wow. That's the thing, is sometimes it feels really mixed, right? Like some shades seem easier to work with, or some are better quality than others, or some formulas depending on whether it's matte or shimmer. But I really do think I'm gonna go back in with Rolls with it one more time. I just really love this shade. But you have Rolls with it, Millions, Girl, What's the Tea, Vroom Vroom, and Custom Rims. And then on to the last row, which is one of my favorites because I don't really play with greens, but these are all kind of inspiring and fun. So we have Glam Rapids. I love this. It's very creamy. There's not a lot of fallout or kickback in the pan. But that is like a soft, light metallic green. And then you have the shade. We have the shade Neat. That is like a true green, like a straight up green. And then we have Drive Through. And this is like a deep gold green. I really like, again, it's a nice shimmer formula. Then we have Hi Dude, which is a deep kind of cocoa brown. And lastly, we have a straight up like ink black, which is a Fast Lane. And there we have it. Glam Rapids, Wake and Bake, Neat, Drive Through, Hi Dude, and Fast Lane. There is the palette. And here's all of them. You can see we've already got a little bit of, you know, movage there, but still a really interesting palette. I do think it's missing like some blue and purple tones. You've got a lot of earthy tones over here in greens and a lot of roses and blushes. but it's a good palette. It's pretty versatile. Again, not the quality you're going to get from the Blue Blood, but still really fantastic. And then as a quick bonus, this is the Brain Freeze Skin Frost Pro palette, which came out as part of the Jawbreaker collection. The Jawbreaker is next on my list, I think, but I love highlighters, so this was a priority for me. And these may be hard to see because they're highlighters, but I hope that you can see them. They have so much shine and they're really pretty. Goldbreaker is one of my favorite. That was Cold Shoulder. This is Goldbreaker. I'll be honest, I don't use Cocky very often. This is actually probably the first time I've touched it because it is a little dark for my skin tone. Then you have Statuesque. Again, first time swatching that. It's like really gold. But you know, you could use these on the eyes probably, and I may give that a go. Frozen Fruit is another of my favorite. I use Goldbreaker and Frozen Fruit a lot. I just like the pink with my skin tone. And then lastly, we have Freeze Tag, which is more of like a silvery tone. So that is the Brain Freeze palette. Cold Shoulder, Goldbreaker, Cocky, Statuesque, Frozen Fruit, and Freeze Tag. So that is it for those two. Yeah, so as for final thoughts, I would say, like, number one, I love this. I never feel the need to get any other highlighter because I have this. I use it every day, but I love highlighter and this is for me. I think this is a good palette for the price. It is, for me, missing some key colors, but has a lot of versatility. I really love a lot of the shimmers. I don't know how well you can see, but there is quite a bit of kind of fallout in the pan for some of these, but overall it's a really nice palette. Lastly, I will say I really think the Blue Blood and the Blood Sugar palettes are overall better formula for eyeshadow. Some of them too also better than others or feel nicer than others. I have worked with all of the palettes though and done some looks over the last couple weeks with all of them, and they are all really nice. So if you invest your money in any of these, I think you'll be pleased if you're a makeup lover. And if you want to get a little adventurous like me, I'm working up the courage to try new eye looks with lots of color and you know, just colorful my life. So let me know in the comments below which shades you liked, which palette you might pick up. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.